We talked yesterday about Joe Manchin, so I apologize that we're having to do another segment on Joe Manchin. But the reason is it's not so much just about him in this one. My last video that's going to come out, well, by the time you're watching this clip, it will have come out. But for my live stream viewers, it hasn't come out yet. But I think it's about to or tomorrow morning, and it's just titled Luke really doesn't like Joe Manchin, and it's just about Joe Manchin because I don't like him, and I explain in that video why, with a particular moment that happened that really enraged me on cable television. But that moment that we discussed where he wouldn't answer if he supported the Democrats in 2022, if he wanted them to win the Senate and the House in 2022, caused a lot of, commotion, and a lot of people picked it up. And so whenever he appeared on Fox News afterwards, they asked him about that moment, and they get into kind of a heated back and forth, and it's a long clip, but the reason I want to watch it is for so many different reasons. There's so many pieces of it that have like larger points I want to make that blossom out of it. So this isn't just a let's hate on Joe Manchin moment. This is kind of a larger situation going on here. All right, let's check it out. This is Fox News.
I want to get to this. You gave some interviews over the weekend on Sunday shows, and at one point you were asked the question on whether or not you would like to see Democrats do much, much better than what they're forecast to do right now based on the numbers. 98 days away from the midterms. Sure. Did you dodge the question when you said, so I can work with either side?
I never dodge a question.
Either side. Let's roll the tape. Let's roll the tape.
Let me give you an answer.
So here's they're cutting to the moments that I had already covered and that they're referring to.
Do you hope Democrats keep control of the House and Senate?
I think people are sick and tired of politics, Chuck, but I'm not going to predict what's going to happen.
I'm not asking you to predict.
I just want to make sure we do something.
That's just, I'm not going to get back into it, but that's so slimy. Whenever someone asks you, do you want an outcome to happen, you say, I can't predict what's going to happen with that. That's not the question at all, Joe.
Something good. And
what result do you want? Do you want the Democrats to keep control of the United States Senate and the House of Representatives?
I'm not making those choices or decisions on that. I'm going to work with whatever I have.
You don't care about the outcome this year?
Whatever the voters choose, I can't decide what's going to happen.
That wasn't dodgeball?
That's not a dodgeball. I'm not getting involved in the political. This is not a political piece of legislation. This is an American legislation. We need energy. We need to pay down debt. We need to accelerate our permitting process so we can build things and meet the challenges.
Yeah, but the elections are going to need some help. You've got a president who's
I am not going to make a statement on that.
Rating
Okay, so before we let it continue, I do want to say right now Manchin is heavily advocating for and supporting a piece of legislation that is good. Shock. It is good, and I love it, and I'm so happy about it. It's like a shocker. I don't know what happened because it seemed like he was trying to block everything, and now we got a pretty good piece of legislation, and that's really exciting. So right now, he's trying to bring it back to discussing that piece of legislation, which I'm down with. So whatever, you little slimy slime ball who won't answer that one question because of whatever, as long as you'll keep trying to push and advocate for this piece of legislation, I'm good.
Is like as low as Congress's.
Well,
I mean,
can't
no
we all do
offense, but
something
you know
great?
that
Are
when you
afraid?
get into the 30s, no one's that popular,
Harris,
and that's
are
this
you
president.
scared we're going to do something good that'll help our country and
of
someone
course
might
not.
take
My father
credit for
served. Are you kidding? Service
Well, it
is in the
sounds like you
Bible.
are.
Wait. What is her? Okay. So, I love how he turns it around, I guess, and says, are you afraid that we're going to do something good? And does articulate effectively that what they're proposing is a really, really, really good action. And I'm glad he supported it, I'll say again, obviously, because he has conditioned us to think we deserve nothing, and it is brutal. And for that, I am angry at him, but for this, I am happy with him. But hilarious that he flipped it around on her and said, do you not want us to do anything good, as she's trying to ask a separate question. But then her response was random because he's saying, like, do you not want us to do something good legislatively, right? And then she says, my father served. It's like, whoa, now we're getting real personal. This is intense.
That's what we do. We serve our fellow man and woman.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Don't make this personal, because it's not. I'm simply asking that you've got a president who can't really help anybody on the campaign trail with the numbers he's rocking right now.
Well,
and so to have you say something like that, it doesn't sound supportive of your own party, and I'm asking why.
Let me just say this. I'm working with what I have here, and the majority party that we have is a Democratic Party. I'm working with a president who's accepted the proposal I've put forward and negotiated, which is a balanced energy policy. That's wonderful for our country. I know people who don't like the president, don't like Democrats, might be upset. This is not about whether you like the president or whether you like Democrats. Do you like America? Do you want us to succeed as a country? Do you want to fight inflation? This bill does it.
Real quickly, the President of the United States, do you want to see him run in 2020?
Okay, so now the question is, do you want Biden to run in 2024?
I am not talking about 2022. I'm not talking about 2024. I'm talking about the American bill we have, the Inflation Reduction Act, which is a red, white, and blue bill. This is a great bill, and I wish my friends would look at it for what it is.
When we get CBO scores and when we get the things on this, and if it shows that those taxes are going back, for Americans below 400,000,
sure,
you got to come back. We got to talk about it.
Okay, so branding it, especially for him who does come from a really conservative state and can't be seen as a crazy liberal, branding it as this is an American piece of legislation, red, white, and blue. This is something I think people can support across the aisle. I think is great. Do it, man. As long as you can continue to support it, I'm all down with that. The dishonest part of him not answering the question clearly is annoying because he did it much more honestly that last time with Biden. I don't want to talk about 2024. I don't want to talk about 2022. That is a fair answer. If someone asks you, do you blank about this election? Do you believe this person, blah, 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 and you want to say, I don't really want to talk about the midterms. I don't really want to talk about 2024. That's fair. Now, I think it's more fair to say you don't want to talk about 2024. You don't want to talk about 2022, the election that we're currently now following. That's a little bit weird because you are a politician who should care about the outcome of an election because elections have massive consequences. So I disagree with him on that, and I do think he's being super slimy. But I think generally a strategy as a politician to constantly try to bring things back to the goal that you currently have is fair. So if his current goal is to try to get this piece of legislation again that I like passed, great. Keep bringing it back to that and keep trying to brand it as the red, white, and blue American bill. I'm cool with that. And I just wish he could be a little bit more honest, but that's all right. And then I also wish that it didn't take all of this obstruction for so long for him to finally support something pretty good. But overall, because we did such an antagonistic segment on him yesterday, here's a moment of us giving some credit to Joe Manchin and an interesting back and forth on Fox News.